legacy that's long. That's the legend of the Armstrongs. Questions get answered, oh, you didn't know? Let's start the show.
Dogg and Cassie slapping. Oh.
Welcome back to the show. It's Road Dogg and Casio, and you're listening to another version of...
Oh, you didn't know? I don't know why I did my hand like this.
What?
But then there was a...
You did the alligator.
Watch out for
tiny
alligators.
body.
Alligators, mate. Crocodiles as well. Crocodiles as well. How are you, Casio?
Good, buddy. How are you, man? Are we still on baby goat watch?
Yes, man. Look.
Boy, them hips are wide.
Here's the truth of it. My wife, I think, jumped the gun.
Oh,
So
no.
one of them looks literally like it's going to happen. The other one, I hope she doesn't hear this, but I question whether the goat's even pregnant.
You think she's just fat?
I think she's just fat like the rest of our family. I mean, all we feed them is sweet feed. No, excuse me.
All right, so we're still on
we're still
watch.
on goat watch. Yes, I'm sorry, but this is a process.
Also, we wanted to thank our previous 2 weeks guests. We had Al Snow and Shannon Moore joining us.
Man, two great human beings who have given a lot back to the sports entertainment industry, pro wrestling, as I like to call it. But yeah, two great people, and if you haven't listened to those, I beg you to go back and listen to them, because those are two guys that are worth listening to.
All right, Dog, let's get it cranking. Let's set the mood, set the tone.
Ooh, hold on, let me turn the lights out.
Let's throw up the meme of the week. Me and you have not seen this. Our producer, Dom, throws it up.
Oh, God.
We react instantly. What do we got for meme of the week?
Meme of the week.
7-year-old me and my best friend when Mom says we can have a sleepover, and it's Hulkamania and Warrior going wild, baby.
That's the truth, though.
Does he have a nipple ring?
Yeah, a couple of them. No, I don't know.
Wow.
Who are you talking about?
Look at Warrior. It looks kind of like he's got a nipple ring. It just might be a shiny nipple.
It's actually, there was a belt sanding accident earlier in his life. These are basically number 1 pencil erasers that have just been surgically added.
It's a prosthetic nipple.
Yeah. It's a prosthetic nipple.
Made out of a
strangely
eraser.
enough, you could milk a kitten on there. So, yeah, it's crazy.
Really? Milk a kitten.
I mean, you got to pay for the upgraded version, of course, of the prosthetic.
Sure.
You don't just that's not the base price prosthetic nipple you're getting. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He probably just got him put in. He didn't get the upgrade package, I doubt.
I should have stopped talking about this 20 minutes ago. Oh, Lord.
That's what happens on Meme of the Week.
Sometimes
never know
it does. Sometimes
what's
it
about
happens.
to happen.
And it's fun. I remembered Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior just now.
And it was like that. You just we're doing a sleepover, man.
You can spend the night. And then about midnight, I'd be scared and call my big brother to come pick me up or something.
Or you ever have the sleepover at your house and you're about midnight, you're like, well, I wish everybody could go home so I go to bed.
I just want to go to sleep in my bedroom.
Yeah.
You learn that really quick.
Yeah.
I saw you put on Twitter or something, you were like, I identify as an indoorsman.
Yeah.
I thought that's really funny. But it's true. You go like, oh, all I want to do is get out of this city, this house, this under the ruling tyranny of my mean parents.
Yeah.
And I want to get out of it. And then you get out in the world and you go, oh God Almighty, let me get back in here. Is that Mom? Is my room still available? And now. It's my life is contingent on how comfortable my lazy boy recliner is.
I'd like to go foraging in the kitchen.
I don't want to forage for real. You know what I mean? Like I'm hoping somebody did that prior to me going to the kitchen. You know what I mean? Like somebody was foraging, and then hopefully there's been some more steps in that process.
Thank you, Kroger, for foraging everything we bought. We appreciate that.
I couldn't even tell that chicken had feathers at one time.
And I didn't know they had such good thighs. I've never been a thigh guy.
Oh, yeah. Hey, thighs are the thing. You know who turned me on? You know who turned me on to that? Funny. Yokozuna.
No, you are.
Yokozuna was the first dude to tell me, "You don't eat chicken thighs." I was like, "What are you talking about?" He's like, "Dude, it's the best tasting piece part of the chicken." I was like, "Oh," and now to this day, we buy boneless chicken thighs. We buy, yeah, they're
My
stinking.
wife loves them.
Oh, they're delicious. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. If you don't like it, you're communist.
All right.
I don't know if communism is bad either, by the way. I didn't mean that. I guess it is.
We do know. We
Oh,
know.
we do? It is?
Yeah.
Okay. Some days I don't know.
Now, look, some historian Goob will get onto us, but in my mind, pretty bad track record with communism.
Yes, sir. If you go back in time.
Yeah. Maybe had an up, a lot of downs.
Yeah.
A lot of downs.
Wonder how we know it's hurricane season.
More downs. All right, let's get into this one. Speaking of down under, mate.
Right. I don't know what you're talking
The
about.
home of Grayson Waller.
How do you say? My daughter can say no. They say like nor when they say no, and my daughter's got it down pat.
No.
Yeah, no way. That's like no way. I don't know why there's an R. But then I also read that in Australia they're nothing but British Texans. And so I thought,
British Texans.
that's pretty, America's going to make it about America somehow.
I've never heard that. That's strong.
But it was very funny to me because I was like, oh, that's a funny take on it. It's not real, but it's funny.
Raise up lights.
Raise, if you say raise up lights, then you're saying razor blades in Australia.
Give me
Raise
some
up
raise up
lights.
lights.
I love your head English when you do it.
Raise up lights. That's how it'd be if I was Australian.
I tell you what, I am not all here because it's easy to make me pop, and I don't give a crap.
Grayson Waller.
Grayson Waller, mate.
I just realized I
Is
do
in
have
Australia.
to get face when I talk like that.
Yeah, Australia. I don't know. Doesn't matter.
Rhea Ripley.
Does this have anything to do with what we're going to talk about tonight?
Australia. Yeah.
Oh, it does?
Yes.
I thought we were just talking about Bluey again.
Well, one of the bigger events in WWE 2018.
Oh.
Super Show, baby. Super Showdown 2018. Running a stadium show in Australia. How do you remember the first thing about this
part
being
of
talked
Australia
about?
was this all in?
Down under, mate.
But was
Where the Barbies are.
Was it Perth? Was it Brisbane? Were we in Melbourne? Were we in...
My grandmother keeps hard candy in her purse.
I don't even know what that meant.
That's an
but
Australian.
I popped.
That's an Australian.
Melbourne Cricket Grounds.
Is that where it was? It was, yes.
Yeah.
The Melbourne
Our
Cricket
producer,
Ground.
Dom, is a savant. Like, you didn't even have to look that up. He
They
has
also
a
call
Googler in his mind.
They call it the G.
Oh, that's what they call. That's what I call it, too.
That's what everybody calls it, the G. Capacity, 100,000.
Oh.
Record attendance was Ed Sheeran at 109,000.
Dom said he always has trouble finding the G.
The G. That's the first time he's found the G in a while.
He's like, even with SatNav, it doesn't.
How about this? The most people they've ever had in there, Billy Graham.
Holy mackerel.
143,000 people in there.
Well,
that's a lot of people,
hey,
buddy.
if you don't believe in the power of God, then you can look at that and tell me I'm crazy.
And I
Tell me I'm
heard
crazy anyway.
I heard Apostle Paul had it tattooed on his arm afterwards.
Yep.
After they announced. No,
They did, but it was the wrong date. It was the wrong date. And I don't know if it was Paul. It was probably Peter.
Well, I forgot it was Billy Graham, not Jesus.
Let's stop blaspheming.
I think Paul was not in the 70s when Billy Graham went there,
but you get it.
Yeah, the joke was there, and I went for it.
Yeah.
All right.
A solid foundation.
Dog, have you been to Australia? One, did you go to Super Showdown?
No, I did not.
Okay, we've just lost a page of notes, but
yeah, perfect.
yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Dang.
I'm saying the truth on the air again. That's the part. I just have trouble.
But have you been to wrestling events in Australia?
I have, mate. I don't even know what that was. It wasn't Australian, but I don't know what it was.
Why do we have to lean? I have, mate. Why? Why is everything serious?
Oh, we so stupid.
There's very fun people. I get inquisitive.
They
Hello, mate. Another strip on the ball.
One of my favorite lines from any movie ever was in a movie called Yellowbeard. I don't know if you've ever seen it or if
That's
you've
what
ever
they
heard
called
of it.
me in middle school. What that means. Here comes old Yellowbeard.
It looked like Midians. It was just like some hair over here and some
Like
hair.
I passed out in the sand.
Somebody ribbed you. You just woke up from the flight back from Australia.
It's like if you shaved somebody's beard and then threw it on my face. To see what would stick.
I get that. So no, I didn't go to this event, but yes, I have been there.
What do you love to eat
during
in Australia?
during 9/11? Actually, I was in Australia when
really?
that happened. Yeah.
Military?
No. With Buff Bagwell. I don't know if you remember. We talked about that briefly on the podcast
I
with
do
Buff
remember that
Bagwell.
now.
If you haven't gone through the archives and saw our one with Buff Bagwell, stop being stupid and slow and get your crap together. You know what I'm saying? So snap to. Anyway, Australia. Yeah. So this was at the Big G, Melbourne Cricket Grounds. 140,000 people for Billy G.
Not superstar Billy Graham.
Hey, no. That's probably why they call it the G.
For Billy Graham?
For Billy Graham.
How about that?
I don't know which Billy Graham though.
We are just to set the table for everybody. We're coming off Hell in a Cell 2018, and there's a lot going on creatively that we'll get to. Becky Lynch becomes SmackDown's Women's Champion.
Yes.
By defeating Charlotte Flair. It's another attempt to make Becky into a heel as she refuses Charlotte's handshake after the victory. Was this Becky pushing to be the heel along with the company? Was she in on this? Did she love this role? What do you remember?
I think it was all a struggle the whole way through. You know what I mean? I think it was kind of for everybody. But that's because we were in the moment and you're there and you're passionate about something and that it doesn't go that way and you don't get your way. So you cry about it. You know what I mean? So that's where all the fans were for sure. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were screaming their displeasure with it all. So yeah, it was a rocky time for sure creatively. But look, to me that's the beauty of the wrestling business and the creativity in said business is when you go, oh, it's wrestling creative, you wipe the slate clean because we are the masters of our own destiny. We make the rules. You know what I mean? Not the fans. I'm sorry. I mean, I know you have a say-so in all of this, and you made yourself heard during all of this. That's why it was a struggle for me personally. I was caught in between a lot of things. So that was that specific story and everything was a struggle. But look, I think they handled it well. I think it bubbled over sometimes in some of their matches, and you saw that, and I saw that, and we saw that, and that happens, especially if you're embroiled with somebody in a storyline and you're kind of married to that person. So anyway, yeah, it was a ow, son of a bee sting. That was a struggle, getting through all that.
Did you lose the nipple? What happened there?
Yeah, one of my
Erasers got caught?
erasers. I just had to change. I had to make change a mistake on my child's homework. So.
Okay.
Oh Lord.
There was also another major injury angle with Jeff Hardy, who went through a table and went out on a stretcher after his match with Randy Orton. The commentary later on discusses how Jeff was spitting up blood and had internal injuries, and he's kept off TV, but not house shows.
Yeah.
This is fun seeing you in this position now with the live shows. How delicate a balance is it when you're booking TV versus house shows? And do they matter in a creative sense?
100% they matter, and
Okay.
and there has to be continuity. I was actually surprised to read that, and I think because the perspective I'm looking at it now in is the one who is creatively writing the live events. You know what I mean? So I couldn't imagine doing that. Like it would be the next day if so and so's taken out tonight. Tomorrow, my team's on the phone. Who's replacing him? We got to take him off of everything.
Right.
He shouldn't be on anything. You know what I mean? And so, but I also can see that being an oversight and maybe saying work. I don't know. It dumbfounded me a little bit when I read that in the notes because I wasn't worried about live events then, which also got me in a lot of trouble.
On SmackDown, the build begins for Australia with Miz bragging about how him and his wife defeated Daniel Bryan and his wife. Miz does a great job healing all over Bryan until Bryan comes out and drop kicks Miz into Maurice as Maurice sells and Bryan looks concerned. Miz attacks, but Bryan fights him off. This is some great stuff between these three right here.
Yeah, it's awesome, and it's because it started off with a hint of reality. You know what I mean? It's the old conspiracy theory or whatever. The facade always has some of the truth in it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's the same here. It started off with that explosive thing on Talking Smack where those two got at it. And I sure hope that was prior to this date because I'm going to sound even stupider than I already do. But that's, in my mind, that's where it started anyway.
Bree would end up back on Raw after this to help build for Evolution with Ronda Rousey. Did you enjoy working with Bree in her time?
Always. Look, to be quite honest, and I went with the twins to Jimmy Fallon one weekend when I was up there, and they needed a producer to go because they were going to double choke slam Jimmy Fallon, stunt guy, through a ping pong table. You know what I mean? And it was like around Halloween, and so it showed them in the little baby blue and white things like the Shining twins. And it's the Bella twins, and they go, we're going to have you for set or whatever. You know, they say something that's scary as crap. And so anyway, they needed a producer there, so I went there. And I've always had a great relationship with both of them, and that's the truth. Like Bree, I don't mean this as a negative at all, but she's a little more girl next door, and Nikki is holy crap. You know what I mean? Like you almost don't.
More glamour and glitz and
Hollywood, the whole nine. You know what I mean? And so it's weird because they both look exactly like, and they're both incredibly attractive. You know what I mean? So but they're just totally different people. You know what I mean? And that's you stop doing that. You're twins.
Right.
You're confusing me.
Exactly alike.
They don't dress the same anymore.
Let's see. Aiden English would attack Rusev after his loss to Nakamura in a U.S. title match. Dogg, looking back at this time in 2018, did you see English being anything besides a sidekick? Did you think he had potential to go further?
So yes, for one thing, but he continuously remains employed in the industry. So I mean, I saw more to him. I didn't see him commentating because I didn't know that was a talent he had, but he does have it. He was a great promo. He was a great worker. He was in great shape. This may be totally cattywampus, but I thought about this earlier, and I thought like he kind of suffered from the same thing that I suffered with. We ain't swell lookers, you know what I mean? Like it's not like we're easy on the ocular cavities. And so, but look, I also thought him and I always forget that dude's name, and I'm sorry because he was always good and respectful, nice, respectful guy to me. But the Vaudevillians, man, I thought they were a great team. Simon Gotch, thank you, Dom. Simon Gotch, I thought they were a great tag team. I mean, the first time I ever saw their black and white go, and they were doing, and I just thought, well, this is the greatest thing I've ever seen in my life. You know what I mean? And then they came out there and the guy had a strong man suit on, and I don't know, I loved it, man. And then they could go. You know what I mean? So I love them as a team. I don't know. Yeah, I thought he could go further. Look, this was another for me personally struggle creatively. Was not I wasn't getting what I wanted, and I was a king baby about it. You know what I mean? It's because at the end of the day, with the proper perspective, it's not war and peace. It's pro wrestling. And it's just because I don't get my way creatively doesn't mean I go, pooey, I'm done with pro wrestling. Never watching again. Okay, more hyperbole. Yeah. Anyway, see you next Monday.
AJ Styles and Andrade have a hell of a non-title match on SmackDown. I feel like, first of all, I'd pay 10 weeks in a row to watch these two dudes go every time.
So look, I don't remember every show and every spot and everything. When I read that in the notes, I thought, oh my God, I bet that match was awesome. Incredible. Because I mean, both guys are just were on the top of their game. Yeah, so what an incredible match. I want to go back and watch it.
On the other show, though, it seems to be building for Undertaker and Triple H to face off one last time. When you think back to 2018, were Hunter and Taker ready for this? Were you worried about age?
I wasn't, because I trust the two gentlemen we're talking about completely. And so I mean, if they weren't worried about it, and they dang sure didn't let on that they were, because that's the people they are too, is I don't know, man. They weren't worried, so I wasn't worried.
Yeah.
I don't know. I know that's a huge match. You get those two guys in the ring and ring the bell, we're 3/4 of the way home.
By the way, with their age, I'd still watch it today.
100%.
If they announced we're coming back for Taker and Triple H.
And then Taker passes out in the turnbuckle. Oh, come on, Brian.
The next week on SmackDown, Truth TV comes out with Carmella, and of course, every few minutes, Truth and Carmella start dancing. Where did this idea come from?
Well, it was my idea, of course. The dance break. I'm those are secrets I cannot tell. But I love the dance break. I love Ronnie the Truth Killings, and I loved Carmella with him, because I thought she was the perfect, and they would just stop. Dance break. Then they just, how stupid is that? Then they just go back into the match. You're like,
so good.
To
me, the crowd got so behind it.
Yeah, and if honestly, if you don't like it, it's just, you're willing to buy Orange Cassidy, but you're not willing to buy that. You know what I mean? Like, you're willing to suspend disbelief so far with these characters of today, but like that was too far. Like, they just stopped in the middle of a match, a competitive matchup.
We just talked about The Undertaker. He's dead. So, he's been dead. He's a dead man.
It's literally in his name. It's a moniker, the dead man. Like, it's...
But we can't dance in the middle of a fight,
whatever
guys.
you're doing.
And when he appears from the lightning bolt, that's real. Okay.
But this blasphemy of ruining the integrity of the competitive bout.
Truth TV replaces Miz TV.
Of course it does, and rightly so.
Who was more entertaining if you had to pick, Dog? Come on.
So I'll tell you the truth, and I'll tell you, for once in a month, Truth is more entertaining. But when it comes to landing the airplanes, and what I'm talking about is a little inside baseball, but when it comes to, and look, Truth can run a segment. He's got no problem running a segment. But there are very few who do it like Mike the Miz Mizanin. You know what I mean? Like, he can handle a crossover segment, a 10-minute segment, a 15-minute segment with guests, with, you know what I mean, and host and land the planes. Is kind of what I was talking about. Like, he's the guy. He's dependable. He's Old Faithful. But entertaining, like in spurts, is Ron the Truth Killings. No doubt about it. Like he's gold. He's the Midas touch. I've said that forever. Everything he touches turns to gold.
All right, before we get in, actually, we're getting into our first dip into the Observer for this episode. I gave you 25 minutes free, sir. Here we go.
Thank you.
Charlotte was doing a photo shoot. In the middle of the shoot, Lynch attacked Charlotte and threw her into a bunch of drawers over and over. With Charlotte laid out, Lynch stepped on her and told the photographer to take the champ's photo. Somebody writing her material is clearly a Conor McGregor fan with the idea she's Irish like he is, because she was using a lot of his lines on her promos this show. Dogg, was this character based on Conor McGregor and the fact both are Irish, or how much did Becky have to do with this?
So Becky had a lot to do with it, but I pray not, because that's some low-hanging fruit. You know what I mean? Like if you're just biting a dude and you're just biting a guy's shtick in the kind of the entertainment industry too. Like, I don't know. That seems.
So you were definitely not involved in this.
Not if it had anything to do with being Conor McGregor, like, because I am not a huge fan of UFC, to tell you the truth. Like I'm a fan. I watch it, and usually I watch it when Conor McGregor's fighting. But like I don't know. I didn't. Her character was not, that I know of, made after that character or that individual. And when I say Becky was responsible for a lot of it, I don't know who was individually writing for her and with her for the segments on the show, but I'm sure she had influence on that. You know what I mean? Like if you don't have input and influence on the character's message and presentation, like how in touch to the character are you? And look, again, this was all a problematic time, and you can hear it in the Observer's tone.
Let me ask you this. This is all hypothetical. Maybe we don't have to use Becky, just wrestler number one.
Yeah.
And they say, hey, we got this promo idea for you. And you go, hey, these are all Conor McGregor's lines. Is that something you can push back on? Is that based on the wrestler, or should you go, no, I'm not stealing his lines?
I think, look, that's just me. I think, like, no, I'm not stealing his lines, because I'm going to be the OG. You know what I mean? I'm going to spit fresh lemon seeds, if you know what I'm saying.
Right. So she would have the ability to blow back if she wanted to push
100%.
back on that. Okay.
Or add it if she wanted. You know what I mean? Like and I'm definitely not saying that's what happened. I'm just saying
it's all hypothetical.
She had a lot of influence on what was going on there, and I think rightfully so. But
she also might not have known. I mean, maybe they don't tell her and they just go, this is fun.
And I just think the real low-hanging fruit is like, this guy's Irish, she's Irish. Be the same person. Like, that feels like, really? That's what somebody did in a think tank? Hopefully somebody threw a can of Coke at that dude. Like, whatever, you know?
All right, moving on. There's kind of a reset with Lana and Rusev here, as they're not together, but they're not apart from each other, with English playing a role, acting like Lana was doing something shady behind Rusev's back.
Oh, maybe she was. You guys don't know.
Woo!
See?
How do you think they did in all these segments then?
I thought they did great. Look, I thought they did great, and I thought they were kind of going against what they wanted to do and wanted to be and all that. But I thought they did great because they were professionals, and that's the truth. You know what I mean? I've said things on here before about them rubbing people the wrong way. I wasn't one of them. You know what I mean? Like, I had a great relationship with both those guys, and to my knowledge, still do. And so, on my side of the street, anyway. So yeah, I don't know, man. I've always anyway. This was a problematic time for me.
Let's go to this.
And I didn't start using or nothing again. It was just like a holy mackerel. I'm coming to my wits' end with this creative stuff. And
there's a lot going on.
Yeah, there was a lot going on.
All right, here's something interesting from the Observer, Dog. Nakamura beat Dillinger, as you know who Dillinger is.
Yes.
Mr. Sean Spears. Or what'd you call him that time? What'd you call him, his name?
I have no idea.
Ronnie Arneal, and you called him somebody.
Areola. I think you called him Areola. I didn't say that.
You called him Areola.
I love every time every time somebody says something bad, the other one says, "You said that, not me."
Yeah, clearly. Nakamura beat Dillinger
That's just
via
good teamwork.
DQ in 205 in a non-title match. The Observer says, quote, "This was weird. Dillinger was punching Nakamura in the corner when Orton hit the ring and attacked Dillinger. Orton threw Dillinger shoulder first into the post. He then threw Dillinger over the announcer's table, gave him a back suplex to the table, and a draping DDT on the floor. Orton then mocked Dillinger's 10 hand sign. Nakamura was leaving, but saw Dillinger laid out and gave him a Kinshasa on the floor onto the apron. Orton did an interview and said that this wasn't starting a program with Dillinger. He just said that the perfect 10 crap pissed him off. I guess they thought that since people liked to chant 10 at Dillinger, maybe this will get Orton booed, which hasn't been easy to get done. I don't think this will accomplish that. Dog, what do you remember about this?
Where do I start?
Was this the plan to get more heat on Orton as a heel?
I'm sure at its core it was the plan, but you also got to make Randy cool too, and so it's a you're swimming upstream with Randy Orton because he's too much of a prick to be a babyface, but he's too cool to be a heel.
Yeah.
And he does both so well, and it's I know the common whatever the wisdom
Consensus.
Conventional wisdom, I think is.
Oh.
I'm not sure if that's even.
I've got one of those at Cooks.
I may have
very
just
well.
made that up. I found it at the Melbourne Cricket grounds. So what were we talking about? Oh, Randy.
Orton.
Randy,
Yeah,
Hey, dude, he's so cool. You know what I mean? How do you? And he's so good. He's so good. So conventional wisdom is. I don't know why I stuttered right there. Like I'm. Anyway. I don't know who I was even going to say. I was going to say like Mel Tillis, and nobody would know who Mel Tillis is. But yeah, Orton's so good. How do you write for him perfectly? You know what I mean? People always, and the thing to do is not to go, something about that guy isn't marketable on a larger scale. Because look, I could go back, and I said there's a lot to unpack there with the Sean Spears, and you read the way they say they didn't like. I guess they said people like the 10. I would argue like NXT like the 10. Like when he came to the main roster, I don't know that was catching on like it was. Granted, he was not booked like that anymore, but I don't know that much momentum. It was like, oh, people were like, yeah, some were. You're 100% right. But was it yeah? Are we talking about yeah? You know what I mean? On the level of yeah?
Yeah.
Is that what we're doing? Is yeah? I mean, are you saying no or yeah?
No, I don't know what to do. No. No.
I don't know what
10.
we're talking about. Randy
10.
Orton's friggin' great. 10. Yeah. So I think that's hilarious. For one thing, I don't know why we did that, but I think it was he said the 10. I'm not starting a program with the guy. that 10 stuff just pisses me off.
I'm not starting a program was a hilarious
The
line.
fact that he said I'm not starting a program with.
Okay,
Randy's so good.
For sure, there was no heat between those guys where he said, "I just want to go crap on him."
Oh no!
This was written in, and for whatever reason,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
The main event segment.
I'll tell you why it happened, and I don't know if this was the case here.
Oh, no.
But we literally got into a last man standing match with Shinsuke Nakamura and Sean Spears because, like he said, Shinsuke said, you're going to have to count to 10. And then Sean Spears just tweeted, did somebody say 10? We booked a match on TV out of that. And so, look, I know it's probably not funny to some people who wish they had the job, but it sure was to me, just trying to keep my head above the water. Small victories.
It worked in the hallway that day for sure.
Oh, man, we all popped.
The main
3
events-
people popped.
And that was all that needed to pop.
That's all for me. I was good.
The main event segment recapped by the Observer. Next was the contract signing for Styles versus Joe.
Oh.
But when Joe's music played, he never came out. They built to this entire show with Paige making plans, and nobody let her know Joe wasn't there. Joe was on the screen in front of Styles' supposed house, with an old-fashioned mailbox that said Styles on it. Joe is so
How
great.
else were you going to know that it was AJ's house? Like it said 7076. Oh, yeah, that's Styles' address. Come on, guys.
Joe is so great in this feud. Styles was absolutely frantic that Joe was at his house and he was in Denver. And Joe said, you feeling helpless, morphing into horror because you realize there's nothing you can do about it. Joe said he stole his title win away from him, and that demanded consequences. Joe told him to use his cell phone to call home, and then joked that he knew Styles did come to the ring with his cell phone. The show ended with Joe ringing the doorbell.
Oh, my God.
Buddy, how good was Joe in this feud, man?
I mean, as good as AJ, and as you know what I mean, and as good as Joe can be. And Joe, that's why we could do promo heavy and drama and stuff, because Joe's great at it. Joe's great at the promo stuff. And AJ's good at being angry redneck pit bull. You know what I mean? And so it made perfect sense. We were actually in Denver too. We rented a big house there in Denver and shot that thing. But it was
How'd
fun.
you find
man.
a house with Styles on the mailbox?
Oh, we put stuff. Never mind.
What?
It wasn't his house. There was a house next to it. Hell no, it wasn't his house. At his house, there's like football fields and baseball fields that he's had built to improve his incredibly athletically talented children.
Phenomenal one way.
Yeah, his phenomenal children.
The next SmackDown opens with GM Paige talking about how she consulted WWE management and that Joe should be fired, but that AJ didn't want him fired and wants to get his revenge in Australia. Paige plays a video of AJ where he says he doesn't want to just put Joe in a casket. He wants to bury him alive.
Yeah.
Were there thoughts of having a casket match or a buried alive match, or did that just happen to be words in the promo?
I think it was just words in the promo.
Okay.
But it's interesting to talk about, and it's surely wrestling fans are going to talk about it. You know what I mean? Like that.
Well, that's why we had to ask there to clear that air, From the Observer, R-Truth and Carmella beat Almas and Vega in 9:52.
Yeah.
Quote from the Observer: first off, they've completely killed Vega's aura as a manager by putting her in every week and making her an average wrestler. Almas and Vega came across here as bit players for R-Truth and Carmella to do their shtick around. Graves made a funny line about not believing Carmella was really from Staten Island. She's actually from the Boston area. And Carmella used the cone of silence on Vega for the submission. Dogg, what did you think? Do you think Andrade had some issues early on in his run with booking? Same with Vega.
Look, I think again, and I'll say it again, we really screwed her over, didn't we?
She's still
going.
going.
You know what I mean? She worked a pay-per-view in Puerto Rico with her flag out. You know what I mean? Like, come on, guys. What are we talking about here? And I don't know. I'm the blurred line because in my real life, I work in wrestling. You know what I mean? And so it's hard enough. I don't know. I can't imagine devoting, that much time to.
Now, we are still looking back on it. I know now she's still running, but they thought she was just donezo then. That's pretty.
Yeah, and that's not true, and it's not fair. It's not a fair evaluation at all. She got a title shot in her home country. Like, I don't know what the country. I don't know what it's called.
From the
Puerto
Observer,
Rico is a property, is a
territory.
Thank you.
It's probably not right. Probably gonna get
It's
heat
closer
for that,
than what I got. So
From the Observer, next saw a segment where New Day was going to teach us how to cook pancakes.
Yep.
They had their pancake maker out with them, but Sheamus and Cesaro came out. They turned over the table and started to brawl.
Yeah.
New Day got the better of it and were setting Cesaro up for the midnight hour when Cesaro threw flour in Kingston's eyes. And they gave Kingston a double backbreaker and gave E a double team white noise and also took out Woods. Then they poured pancake batter. Oh, was it?
No.
Oh, I got excited.
No, I just love pancakes after midnight.
Then they poured pancake batter into the hat the other guy was wearing and put the hat on him. So the batter came out all in his face.
Is that what happened? I'll be there.
You know what the Observer says?
Yeah. I do.
This was a ripoff of the 1974 movie The Wrestler, when Dusty Rhodes and Dick Murdoch did that to this obnoxious drunk guy at the bar who was saying that pro wrestling was fake. Cesaro then poured the rest of the pancake batter on the guy who had to walk away. He was so humiliated that if anyone took this seriously, they'd want to get revenge somehow. Is that where the idea came from?
To me, that sounds bizarro world, because like, I mean, in black and white movies, that stunt has been every magicians pour milk in the hat and then put it on. It's been around forever. But no, Marcus Aurelius, we got it from Dusty Rhodes and Dick Murdoch. And this Jiminy Christmas, please step outside and just turn to another channel, one more channel other than wrestling.
Hang on, guys. I'm looking under B for batter for anything we've done in the past. Just see what.
Well, look, I also loved that segment. I thought it was awesome. I thought the guys are awesome in it. The guys, it's a fun segment.
Randy Orton would give Dillinger a draping DDT off a barricade and then would bend his fingers back, and Meltzer would say, the deal is, quote, they have to go to extreme lengths to get people to boo Orton because people see him as a huge, endearing, almost legendary star at this point in his career. That said, his face, where he does the cold-hearted vibe as a heel, is incredible. He's one of the very few guys who isn't playing bad guy wrestler, but is just a heartless, remorseless character who fans still like because he's been around for so long. That's actually a pretty good description.
Well, it's not bad, but that's what I'm saying is that's the Messiah of wrestling. Like that's a deep take there, Ogre. What if dog was spelt C-A-T? You know what I mean? Like that's and I said it earlier. Yes, he's a legendary. He has legendary status. He was called the Legend Killer. He's been doing this a long time. He's awesome at what he does, whether he's good or bad. And so it's hard to write him one way or another because the people are going to cheer for him or pop for him or whatever. So it's a tricky tightrope to walk, but it's not like philosophy 101. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, Randy's super cool. Okay, thanks.
Thanks.
Yeah, I like him too. I'll never forget. Like I told Randy Orton right to his face first time I ever met him, "You're the best I've ever seen at this." And what I was talking about was TV wrestling. The working the cameras and working his facials and working his entrance and working everything is contemplated and executed with television perfection in mind. And very rarely does he come up short. And that's just Randy Orton. And so if there's not something in there that you respect, to me, that's where let's dig down deeper and talk about why people really like him. And it may be for his tenure, you know what I mean? But God darn, he's awesome. You know what I mean? And ain't showed a misstep yet. You know what I mean? Of age, of his body's always in great shape. He takes great care of himself, and I can't wait for him to come back.
I want to be Randy Orton. Okay,
I do too. He's a beautiful man, and he's great at wrestling.
He can rock a stash if you need him to.
He can do whatever. He can pull off anything.
His shirt,
his pants. I mean, whatever. I'm just saying, whatever we need him to pull off.
That's what they make tights for. Hey, how about this? If you are listening to us right now and you go, you know what? I don't want to pull off my shirt. I don't look good in my tights. We have I was going to say product, but they're our friends by now.
Yeah.
It's our friends over at AG1,
Amen.
Dog. They are
Amen.
here.
My abs are coming in.
Are they?
No, but I'm
Do you
still
have a
working
delivery date yet? Does Amazon get you that?
Yeah, Prime Day. It's the Prime Day.
Our partner over at AG1, the daily foundational nutrition supplement that supports whole body health. This is a tiny habit. All you got to do is drink this before you leave the house every day. Boom, you've literally changed your life. Micro habits with big benefits.
Yeah. It's from the inside out. You know what I mean? And we have talked several times about gut health and just to me, that's what it does. You don't have to take a bunch of vitamin C and vitamin B and D and E, and sometimes chimpanzee and me agree that one day soon there'll be a celebrity. It has it all in there. I don't have to buy separate boxes. I don't have to buy separate cans or bottles. It's all in there in one scoop a day. You mentioned you called it a tiny habit. It's anything but tiny in the long run.
Yeah, big benefit.
So beneficial and so convenient.
You're basically, like you just said, you're taking all that, you're covering all your nutritional bases right there with the scoop in the morning, and you're done with it. You're done with it and changing your life for the better. It replaces your multivitamin. It replaces your probiotic like Dogg is talking about. It's one simple, drinkable habit. That's the benefits of AG1. Build your health foundation first.
That's just the health benefits. There's financial benefits to this as well.
Yeah.
As far as like we just talked about all those different bottles and boxes and cans of vitamins and supplements, like how much money is all that? Because this right here does not cost that much. And so it's cheaper than your cup of coffee. That's for dang sure. About what, $3 a day?
Less than $3 a day. Yep. Yeah. And that's 75 high quality ingredients that give you that daily nutrients that you're required to get for your body to just run normal. We're getting you there. They're going to support your energy. They're going to support focus, support strength, and support clarity. So take care of your body every single day, and it'll take care of you. Amen. The comprehensive solution is what you need from your supplement routine. Then try AG1 and get a free 1-year supply of vitamin D and 5 free AG1 travel packs with your first purchase. Go to drinkag1.com/DOGG. That's
Amen.
drink, the letter A, the letter G, the number 1.com/DOGG. Check it out now, and when you go talk to them, tell them you heard Road Dogg talking about them. They're going to love hearing
Tell
about
them I told you
that.
about high-quality poops.
High-quality poops.
HQPs, Dog. Hey, the stuff I eat, you know what I mean? I need some help. I need some probiotics and stuff with the digestion.
A lot of poisons you need to get
Cheese,
out.
pizza, and beignets. You know what I mean? Like and swig down with a Pepsi. You know what I'm saying? I'm not what you call a pillar of health.
A token of health. I
have problems with bear claws lodged into my. I do love horrible food. Bless my heart.
Okay. Shelton Benjamin, speaking of great bodies, I mean, come on, man.
Yeah.
Shelton Benjamin would defeat Daniel Bryan with Miz's help, and Meltzer would speculate that since Miz had the advantage over Bryan most of the build, that it should be Bryan going over at the pay-per-view. Dogg, did you write stories like that specifically to where someone had an advantage because they were going to be losing the pay-per-view?
So I can tell you that I've both done it like that and done it the exact opposite because of that. You know what I mean?
Right.
So, but because, well, I mean, so if we did it the same way every time, I don't know, man. There's more options, right? He says, and his way of doing it is the right way, of course. Like he said it out of his mouth that should be immortalized in glory. But what were we talking about again? Yeah. They just, I don't know. whatever.
There's no formula. There is a formula, and then you spin off of that
man,
formula, and then you spin off of that.
You go off. It's and you know what works, and you know what we did it that way. Another story. Okay, well let's not do it that way then. And so you go like, oh, they left so and so laying at the end of the go home show, so that means so and so's going over. Well, why does it mean that? You know what I mean? Like, what if we're not done with the story? What if there's more to come? What if, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. It's just, I think that's begging for our industry to be predictable and then being angry because our industry is predictable.
Right. There's a moment in the match where Benjamin and Brian bump heads, and it feels everyone panics, including the camera guys, as they go to shoot the commentators. Was Brian the only one you had that rule for since his concussion history, or was it everyone, or do you even remember them talking about this?
So they didnthat stop this match, did they?
No, but the camera guys didn't want to show him headbutting, and just in case there was...
I remember that might have all been set up. You know what I mean? That could have been by design, and I'm not saying that it was, because I don't actually remember this time, and I'm being shrouded by the time that we actually called the match, and Brian was so hot about it. But it could totally have been by design. You know what I mean? But it might have been an accident too. So I hate to say anything one way or the other.
Do you ever remember them saying, "Hey guys, if anybody, much less Daniel Bryan, if anybody bumps heads, let's shoot away until we figure out if it's all right"?
No.
Okay.
No. So it's not like because 9 times out of 10, unless the head hit is by design, you know what I mean? Unless it's like a called accident, if that makes sense.
How would they know when
you wouldn't even know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because the next thing is, so some people would go, hey, I think they just hit heads. But very few. You know what I mean? But actually, they went away from it. They wanted to draw attention to the fact that they hit heads. You know what I mean? So the more we talk about it, the more it makes me think it was a story point. But like that, I don't know, man. I would love to see them work again. Daniel Bryan and Shelton Benjamin. 2 guys that can do it.
You've hinted on this earlier, Dog, so let's get to it full bore. The go-home SmackDown was the crowd reacting heavily to Becky as a babyface, and then Charlotte majorly as heel.
Yeah.
Is this the show that made you finally go, we might need to rethink this? Are we tired of fighting the crowd? What was the thinking here?
Yeah, look, I think we'd all been tired of fighting the crowd, and when it became like everybody kind of felt the same way, then we moved toward that direction. But man, it's still, look, I'm old enough to admit that I'm out of touch, and maybe Norman Rockwell is my vision, and it's not the vision of today. But I mean, that happens all the time. Rich people get benefits in court. Like it just happens. That's why the wrestling fan, when Charlotte came back from a promotional a businessman point of view, she's a huge star, maybe arguably the hugest. You know what I mean? And so you don't want to get her on your big SummerSlam. What if there was a handshake deal made backstage that, hey, you got to get me on SummerSlam, whatever. Like, I don't even know what happened, but my point is, creative decisions are made off of what's best for business. And I know that's a bad line, but I just because you don't like it, I don't know. Are we supposed to just stop doing it because you don't like, you know what I mean? Like, so I'm torn here with this whole thing because I was torn then. And so I guess I'm still torn about it all. So I don't know. I'm just stupid and old, I guess.
All right, let's get to...
Don't worry, guys. I'll be dead soon. I'm just kidding. I'll probably be dead tomorrow. I just hope it's not the tomorrow after today. You know what I mean? I hope it's like 7,000 tomorrows. I don't know. I don't know how many that is either.
If tomorrow never comes.
Why not?
If let's talk about the actual pay-per-view, Super Showdown 2018.
Okay. We haven't been.
No. We've been leading up to it.
Good. We're an hour deep. Good.
Yes.
Let's dig right in then.
Pound through this, baby.
Double J, Jeff Jarrett here to tell you about SaveWithConrad.com. You've heard Conrad talk about the total nonstop savings they've provided current homeowners. But did you know Conrad and his team can also help My World listeners become homeowners? They make buying a home easier than getting the bag after a good housekeeping match. But don't take the Last Outlaw's word for it.
Franklin Dove, Orlando, Florida. After listening to all of Conrad's podcasts and hearing the different stories that he shared, I felt the time was right for me to explore buying a home again, and reached out, and one thing led to another, and finally closed last week. It was excellent. Everything flowed smoothly from my first contact. I just put in the initial request online. Francis reached out. We started the application process, got the approval moving. Holly was great. Larry Thompson was amazing. Everything was smooth. Communication was perfect. Really, it was a much better experience than anything that I could have imagined. My name is Franklin Dove in Orlando, Florida, and I got into my dream home thanks to SaveWithConrad.com.
That's right. In my world, it doesn't get any better than 5 stars. Don't let your landlord get over on you. Walk out on that bad deal and stop throwing your money away on rent today with SaveWithConrad.com. That's right. It's SaveWithConrad.com.
NMLS number 65084, equal housing lender. Woo!
What's the difference in running a pay-per-view in Australia compared to the U.S.? I know there's big travel differences, of course.
For sure. Travel differences, and the biggest problems for the company are probably not anything I would ever see. It's probably got to be working hand in hand with some kind of production company over there, and you know what I mean, and just having different relationships and working overseas, and I think
who's going to have passport issues.
Yeah, everybody's gonna have something. That's gonna
happen.
But it's really not like you show up, the catering's different. You know what I mean? The hotel's a little different, and the water's not clear. No, I'm just kidding. I just totally made that up. But seriously, all of Australia is like Flint, Michigan. No, I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
And every animal
Australians Australia's actually, and I was thinking about like the UK, all the hotels are all like really small feeling. Like, I don't know, maybe I'm just too big and too fat, but like you got to go outside to change your mind. You know what I mean? Like it's a tight fit. And but Australia they got big, nice stuff. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. They're propped up for fat people is what I'm saying.
All right. Which makes all those deadly animals easier
I had an extender belt on my crapper, so.
Plus, what was that bird that attacks them down there? The magpies.
The magpie.
Yeah, and they got all those giant wolf spiders and all kind of stuff.
Yeah, they got spider wolves and wolf spiders.
Magpie on the ball, B.
That might be a PETA infraction. I'm not sure if you eat magpie. And the bin chicken, they call it a bin chicken.
Remember, they got those helmets with the spikes. Maybe you can catch it and then take it home. And it's on the Barbie then.
But still, can we just have the helmet with the fist on it instead? It just comes across like this.
Hey, I'm so mad I didn't get a picture with it. I thought I did. Did you know there's apparently a giant fist in downtown Indianapolis?
What? You have a picture with that already. I know somewhere.
I don't. There's a giant fist statue in Indianapolis. Boy, and it popped to me way more than anybody.
Anybody else.
Right. Why are you doing it? Just go off story.
What's the reason?
I didn't get that far because my laughter confused everyone. You know, it was, you want to get your picture in front of Comerica Park with the tiger
and the fist.
The fist, and I was like, do what now? And they
Did you say Carl Fisk? Because you couldn't have said.
There's a giant fist downtown. I went, well, I don't want to go downtown. I'd like to go the opposite direction.
I prefer my fist to be medium.
Let's go
medium
to the
size.
Town. Yes. Slender wrist, no fist. I'm like, please.
I don't want no baby arm with rolls right here and right here.
Dom, look up Indianapolis fist on your not on your work computer though.
I may have a cardiac event.
All right, we gotta get into
the show. We're in Australia.
Okay. Yep.
Right.
Match number 1. Right. Kofi Kingston and Xavier Woods beat Sheamus and Cesaro to keep the SmackDown tag titles in 9 minutes and 40 seconds. Kingston and Woods are called Team Speed Force.
Oh,
That sounds awesome.
that's not me, because I would never say that.
It's a good match. Kingston did a flip dive to the floor, and Cesaro caught him. Woods did a plancha off the top rope to the floor, and Sheamus caught him. Each slammed the guy they caught back first into the post.
Oh.
They worked over Kingston and then Woods. The ending saw Kingston hit the Trouble in Paradise on Sheamus on the floor. Woods gave Cesaro a backstabber, and Kingston followed with a double foot stomp on Cesaro for the pin. 3 stars.
3 stars, man.
For the
That's
gentleman
3
here.
times better than any match I ever had.
Which, by the way, gives us our first chance
Oh,
to throw up our 5-star review of the week, baby.
5-star review. People like me and you.
All right, this one comes from El Conquistador.
Of course he does.
He says, I grew up watching Bullet Bob, Brad, and Steve down in Pensacola. Great to hear stories about the Bullet and family. Great stories from Road Dogg about some old school wrestling. I really enjoy podcast. RD is funny and entertaining. He has great insights into the biz. Glad he got his life turned around and can share personal experiences that might help others. Wow.
Man, I don't know. Yeah, thank you very much for that, El Conquistador.
That's what it's all about.
I, yeah, of course it is. I can't believe that we had to dig through all the 1-star reviews to find his, because there's so much negativity out there. Conquistador.
If you'd like to be our 5-star review of the week, go ahead and wherever you're listening to this, give us a 5-star
Conquistador.
review, just like El Conquistador did. We could be reading your name and giving you a shout out, just like
saying
we
it
did.
loudly and
El Conquistador.
in a horrible dialect.
All right, Dogg.
Yes.
Second match. Charlotte Flair
Second
beat
match of the
Becky
show.
Lynch via DQ in 10:37, so Lynch retained the SmackDown Women's title. The crowd booed Flair, not heavy at first, but they clearly did. Lynch got a clearly.
So I love that. You don't have the bully pulpit, do you? No, you just get to say, "Here's what happened," and if
Lynch
you don't believe me,
Lynch got a huge babyface reaction, even though she worked the match as a heel. If anything, the reaction got bigger as the match went on. There were loud chants for Lynch. It was interesting that when Lynch went for a finisher, it was called the Fujiwara armbar and not the disarmor or disarm her. Lynch.
yeah, just drink that in for a second.
Uh-huh.
I have no idea what he's talking about.
The Fujiwara armbar.
I get that, and apparently they called it that instead of something else. But what isn't it that too? Are those both? Or is one factually incorrect?
No, I would think. I don't
that they're
know.
usually branding and saying the name
Yes.
of the finish, and the fact that they didn't say it here was peculiar.
I'm not sure why he thought it was interesting, because I did not.
Well, because it was it was outside the box. You know what I mean? It was different, and maybe they were going through a thing where they were thinking about, well, we're going to change your finish name, or you know what I mean? You never know what's going on.
Lynch also worked over the fingers while holding the move. They had a great elbow trade. Charlotte hit a spear for a near fall, went for a moonsault, but Lynch got up to her feet and used La Magistrale cradle.
Oh, I'm not sure what you.
That means the Magistrale
You need to
cradle.
see the magistrate, because I think there's a warrant out for your arrest.
Lynch missed a leg drop off the top rope. Lynch grabbed
Ooh.
her belt and went to leave. Fans did boo her for that. Charlotte used another spear in the figure 8, but Lynch had the belt in the ring, grabbed it, and hit Charlotte 3 times for the title saving DQ.
DQ.
Here we go. The post-match made no sense. The finish was a babyface finish of getting screwed out of the title to build for a rematch. But after the match, Charlotte attacked Lynch, but Lynch made her come back like a babyface, hitting an exploder suplex and leaving her laying. She then left and came back and gave Charlotte a running knee, sending Charlotte's head into the barricades. This was babyface killing booking to a babyface that recent booking has been killing. Ooh. That was like she sells seashells by the
Hey,
store.
that's a journalist typing that trash.
Work was good, but the ending was not. 3 stars. A lot to unpack there, Dog.
There is a lot, but it boils down to perspective. You know what I mean? What you like, and to me, the more he talked, the more he let me in on people were confused too. And maybe that's because of the booking or because of people seeing people doing things that are not, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I'm still twisted about that. And what I love is, and I mentioned the bully pulpit earlier, it's like, oh, well, you're wrong. Oh, okay. Like, am I? Is there a right?
I mean,
You know what I
barely
mean? Like,
moved, but it was there.
Yeah, it was. I don't know what to say to the masters of knowledge and know-how.
To the master, the babyface killing booking to a babyface that recent booking has been killing.
Booking and face and heel killing heel.
Well, look how far you've sent her down to NXT now. So you've killed her.
I've killed her, right?
Let's fast forward 5 years.
She's only the man, and Charlotte's back and on top of the world in the title picture. Like, it's that again. I go back to, yep, we killed her.
Let's talk about these two though. They got better every single time they were working together.
Oh yeah,
and
well
still
look, they're both great at what they do, and they both bring. I want to say the best because I believe that's the truth out of each other. I think sometimes that's a little sibling rivalry that boils over. I'd argue that's healthy, man, and I would. In all the great rivalries, there was a bit of oh really, okay, and sometimes that boils over, man, and that's just real life, dog. But yeah, they're great. They're both great at what they do, and when they get together, they're great at doing it together.
Next up on the match on the card, John Cena, Bobby Lashley beat Kevin Owens and Elias in 10 minutes and 2 seconds. Elias is so much better at playing guitar, and the crowd loved him. Owens got the big heel reaction, calling Melbourne the cesspool of a city, and said that the show should have been in Canada.
Yeah.
Elias.
It's a shorter flight.
Elias,
I understand his argument.
It is.
Yeah.
It's easier travel.
Yeah.
Elias tried to get heat, saying how Collingwood choked, thinking they were a local team that did badly.
Is that Micmac's name?
Yeah, that's Micmac's favorite team, yeah.
Oh. Well, sorry.
The only problem is that most of the fans hated Collingwood to begin with, so they heavily cheered it. They didn't bring Leo Rush here. Cena got a huge babyface reaction. He grew his hair out, and he looked like John Layfield.
No. Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
When reading the notes and you came across that sentence,
It popped me even more than it did now.
No. I want to go back even one more. To they didn't bring Leo Rush here.
Yeah.
What? Where did that come from?
Well, that was when he was running with Lashley the whole time. Remember, he was his little mouthpiece.
Yes. I'm sorry. I'm the idiot. And that's more.
You thought they just inserted it.
I just thought, like, where did that sentence come from? Like, is it?
Speaking of, nobody's seen Leo, so
I'm not even sure if we brought him. If he's home alone again.
I do want to get to him in a second because he is here, but he didn't get to go to Australia. Cena got a huge babyface reaction. He looks like JBL. Lashley worked the entire match until the last 40 seconds. Selling, Lashley isn't any good at selling. For him to get over, the match has to have him on offense most of the way.
See, this is the guy. Just some friggin' guy, dude.
Yeah.
Telling, this is what irks me. And maybe it's me, dude. I will admit 100% I have an ego, and I pray for God to remove it all from me. If it has to squeeze it out of my toes, get it all out of me, because it's nothing but evil. And it's negative, but it makes me angry when somebody who's never done it goes, well, this is the way you do it. Because, dog, I think you're wrong. I think there's more than one way to do it. And I think you saying this is the way to do it don't make it right. It just makes me angry. Anyway, we shall move on. Because it does. It makes me mad, man. Because, look, I don't know. That's bull crap. I've been carted out as crap or whatever. It's just, hey, you don't... In my world, you don't get to critique. You don't get to critique. You can watch. Keep your friggin' critique to yourself till you want to jump off the top rope. You know what I mean?
Well, look, we don't need to get too far in the woods on Meltzer, but he has said he's just a fan who writes his opinions.
Oh, that's an editorial?
Yes, we have.
But that's not what his journalist type. You know what I mean? I believe that.
I got you.
I believe
got
that.
you.
But like, I'm not going to rehab and listening to somebody ain't never drank or smoked some weed either. You know what I mean? I need you to have some experience.
Well, he's got the inside information
Okay.
that we as fans did not have, especially back
I'll
then.
tell you what I'll do now is shut up, because obviously we have some type of relationship with Meltzer that I'm not aware of.
It was just for us fans. He was the hottest. He was what we had to back.
He's the
backstage.
source. I get it.
Yes.
I get it.
Cena hot tagged in, and plus this helps me and you remember.
Oh,
what
it
happened.
does?
Yeah,
Yep,
remember
here we
what
go.
happened. Cena hot tagged in, hit the attitude adjustment on Elias and the Shandy and Twan.
Yeah.
Do you remember the Shandy and Twan?
At my house, we call our butts twans. Like I say, go clean your twan. Like take a
All
shower.
right, Shandy and Twan is a Jackie Chan back punch,
Oh, Tracy Smothers was doing that stuff in 1987, Jack.
which they also call the sixth move of doom, baby.
I love
Do you remember when he was doing the six moves of doom?
I don't even
was
know what
Cena.
that is.
Cena then did another farewell promo. He said that he didn't know what to expect coming back tonight, but wanted to say thank you. He said the WWE has always been his home and will always be his home. He said that his life is changing now, and he has no idea what the future holds, so he focuses on the now. And right now, he's standing before 70,000 people saying, what? Because they were saying what after everything he said. The worst thing possible is to encourage that, says Meltzer. Michael Cole then started pushing Cena with their marketing phrase for him as being the greatest of all time, 1 3/4 stars. All right.
So Meltzer was telling John Cena how to cut an in-ring promo.
Right. Don't encourage the once, John. Please.
John, how dare you? Let me tell Meltzer something. And this is for every. John Cena can do things and it be accepted that no other wrestler in the history of our business can get away with. And that's just the truth. And some of the things he does, and other people just go like, "Oh my God, he's only has 6 moves, whatever." Yeah, he had the 8-figure trigger, I think, is what he had, because he's making bank and just making people mad because he can't wrestle as good as somebody I've never heard of.
It is crazy that for him to saying he doesn't know what he's about to do here in 2018, and then he went on to make Peacemaker, which is one of the greatest superhero shows ever done in cinematic history. So he can do no wrong after that. But we don't talk about Leo Rush. We have not talked about him just because he hasn't came up.
Yep.
It's always been said he had some issues while in WWE. What were you aware of any issues he had? What did you think of working with Leo Rush?
So I worked with him in NXT for a pretty extensive period of time, but I only worked with him on a creative standpoint. So I wasn't like I would hear he says one thing to the writer and then a different thing to me. You know what I mean? And I get that. A lot of people do that. You know what I mean? Like I'm an old fat wrestler who's in the Hall of Fame and they think I'm somebody. So they talk to me one way and so I never had an issue with him. He was always very respectful. Good worker too. I know there was at some point some creative differences on what his outfit was going to look like, but that happens with everybody too. So I don't really remember anything problematic about Leo.
Okay, problematic. Yeah. Also, it's funny to see Cena cutting a farewell promo as he is now.
Of course.
Still
Of
going
course.
and will never go away. And
retirement
we're all
match.
yes. And while we mention him, he just got released from WWE. What do you think Elias can do in the future of this business? You say he's still got a place?
100%, like 100%. If the other place doesn't scoop him up, I just don't know why you wouldn't. You know what I mean? He has. Everybody today loves to sing along with an entrance song, loves to sing along with, man, there's money on the table with music. And the kid looks good. Not a kid, he's a grown man, but body looks great. His work is great. I think maybe they felt like maybe we did some, I don't know, I'm speculating, but maybe we did some damage with all the just relying on his music. It was a one-trick pony, but that's not the truth, man. people who watch his work and follow him as a wrestler, like he came back as Ezekiel, and they had some good matches with people. You know what I mean? He looked great. So, yeah, there's a future for him.
Do you know if Ezekiel got cut?
No, he's still employed.
Is he? Okay.
Yep.
He has good dental. To see where he does now.
I think they're going to kill his vision, but he still has dental.
Next up, Billie Kay and Peyton Royce beat Asuka and Naomi in 5 minutes and 40 seconds. Kay and Royce got big reactions and played it up like baby faces. Royce did a split-legged moonsault. Or do you say split-legged? What do you like there, Dog?
I like leggy.
Split-legged moonsault.
Yeah.
On Naomi for a near fall. Naomi did a plancha on Royce. Royce did a running knee to the side of Naomi's head for the pin. Kay and Royce are not very good, says the Observer, and this was a bad match. But it was the right thing for the crowd. They kept it short. They let the heels be the faces because they were local and put them over 1 1/4. Dog, this was a big deal to put Kay and Royce over being from Australia, right?
Well, I think so. And,
Yes.
I think I also think we judge too harshly. But because they're not one of the 4 horsewomen doesn't mean there's not a place on my roster for them. And look, I know a lot of people that listen to this don't agree with my creative ideas anyway. You know what I mean? So, but I think there's room on the roster for men. They were good enough, and their comedic timing to me was unprecedented. And I just thought Billie Kay, who I think if we're talking about work rate, since you're going to make me talk about things that don't exist, we say that Billie Kay was the weakest of the two. I beg to differ, man. I think she was the strength of the duo. Her comedic timing and her input was legitimately funny, man. She honestly I thought of Carol Burnett and stuff when I saw her and I interact with her in a backstage and hear her chiming and spitballing with me about a backstage comic thing. You know what I mean? And her I don't know. I just was super impressed with how talented she was, and there's room for that on the, they're not good. Well, not good at wrestling. And I guess that used to be the name on the card, but it's not anymore.
Look, I'm sure somebody did.
Oh, it is, isn't it? World Wrestling Entertainment. Dang it.
Right, it's still in the title.
That's 77 times so far I've sounded stupid. Dom, is there anything...
This will turn into a TikTok if we cut out all the times me and you
it's
are
just
stupid.
like
Yeah, it's just me.
Me, I'm stupid. Me, I'm stupid.
Well, look, the Iconics, first of all, they could work the mic. That was never a question.
Yeah.
Do you think maybe it was a case? I don't know this, but especially looking back on it now, maybe it's a different look. But you think maybe they got over faster than maybe they should have because their mic was so good and their wrestling didn't have time to catch up?
I don't think. Look, I actually don't think the wrestling could have caught up. But but again, I don't think it has to.
Right.
Look at the biggest stars in the past 50 years of wrestling. None of them were any good at wrestling. You know what I mean? It's just. I say,
wait for that to go viral.
I jokingly say that, but you know what I mean. Like, it's compared to today, the work rate compared to today. Holy mackerel! They couldn't wrestle. You know what I mean? Like we were stomping and kicking. We were stomping and kicking. But if your mic was hot, and when you're hot, you're hot, and when you're not, you're not.
Next up, AJ Styles beat Samoa Joe to retain.
Hold on right there for a second. That's what I was going to say earlier, and I don't know if I finished it.
What?
We're always so quick to jump on the booking of something, and I would argue LA Knight didn't rate on them to book him and do something. He became undeniable, and all of a sudden you got to book him. And so there's some of this lies on the individual. At some point, and they said this in the notes actually, so it's ironic. Some point the bell has to ring, and you have to connect with the viewer. You have to connect with the viewing audience. And if you can't do that, don't blame it on the writers. You know what I mean? And also, for the fans, don't blame it on the writers either. Like, just because you like the guy doesn't mean he's catching on the world over. You know what I mean? Like, okay, you like the guy. Let's see where it goes. But like with LA Knight, he's just stealing the world right now because it's organic, it's real, and look, I always like to say it's the opposite of my only point of reference is me and my history. It's the opposite of Rusev Day. You know what I mean? It's something that caught on and they're running with it instead of it caught on and they didn't run with it. You know what I mean? Like it was even if it would have been for 6 months and they printed shirts and printed money with them and it went, you know, whatever. I just feel like that's one of the things that I look back on and go, man, I wish that would have been different. But to me, what I see is progress in the way it's being handled today. Is like, oh, they heard it, they see it, it's undeniable. Get on the surfboard. You know what I mean? Until this son of a gun hits sand.
Right. And let's hope it doesn't anytime
No,
soon.
yeah. I hope he hangs 10 on that sumbitch. I don't know why. I guess whatever.
AJ
Call me
Styles.
Kevin Nash.
Okay. AJ Styles beat Samoa Joe to retain the WWE title in
Dang right he did.
23
You know why?
minutes and 42 seconds.
He was pissed, bro.
Woo.
Samoa Joe went to his house in Denver. You know how I knew it was his house?
It said Styles.
Right on the mailbox, bro.
It can't be anybody else's house.
It would have to been. Well, AJ was sitting in there.
I love that some Airbnb y'all got showed back up. It's like, does it say Styles on the mailbox? Was that there before?
No, it's Joey Styles'
Joe Styles
actually permanent residence. Yeah.
rented Joe's house to you.
It was weird too because we were there all night and in a daggum neighborhood. Dude, we all are standing out there. We had a good time shooting that. Though. We had a good time shooting that. Johnny Russo of NXT fame was
Johnny
there.
Russo.
Yep, Johnny Roo. But yeah, we had a blast shooting that.
I would love to be in a suburb and peek out my window and see Samoa Joe cutting a promo beside the mailbox. In your house.
On the porch. It was kind of cool, though. It really was. It was fun to do.
The Observer says, to me, this was the best thing on the show they brought outside the ring before the match started. Joe hit an elbow suicida. How about that? The match slowed down.
I'll tell you what.
Huh?
I had that one time.
Elbow suicida?
Yeah, it was in Mumbai.
Really?
Yeah. I took a Sita, all right. I was sitting, well, there's not really a potty per se. It was just a hole in the ground, but I was sitting on the hole because my legs were too. So you said Fujiwara armbar. My bad. My joke wasn't going anywhere, so I just thought I'd
Yes, Fujiwara.
be stupid.
Fujiwara armbar instead of the disarm her.
Yes.
The
love
match-
a good cinnamon bun.
The match slowed down for several minutes, which led to "We Want Tables" chant. Styles ended up bleeding from the mouth. Styles drop kicked a chair onto his face and used chairs back. Joe gave Styles a uranagi into the chair.
Yeah.
Although Styles actually mostly missed the chair, only partially hitting it. Styles picked Joe up and dropped him backwards through a table. Joe started selling his left knee big. That's different from selling your left big knee. That's very different. Joe screamed that the knee popped but refused to quit. Styles stomped on the knee and used the calf crusher, but Joe reversed into the choke. Styles made the rope. Styles hit a springboard 450 on the bad knee and the phenomenal forearm off the barricade. He did another springboard but landed in a choke. Joe used a choke suplex and teased the muscle buster, but his knee went out.
Oh, what storytelling.
Joe went for a choke again, but Styles got a cradle and then got the calf crusher for the submission. 4.25
I was about to
stars.
say, I guarantee you they gave this one 1,000,000 stars. And rightfully so. Like I thought it was a great match. And they told a great story.
That's why you booked it that way.
Yeah, and it was a great story going in. You know what I mean? Like it got personal. And that's what, like, I would argue that's why Joe and AJ were so big and AJ and Nakamura didn't deliver like that domestically. I just don't think there was a good personal story at the time, and that's my own fault, nobody else's. But like these guys delivered and we wrote great promos with them, man. And when you can talk and cut a great promo, and Joe, you can cut a great promo with Joe. I talk about it all the time. We did the Night AJ and the children's book where he read the children's book. Like, I don't know, man. It was just really cool and outside the box, and for two great wrestlers. So I don't know.
Why do you think Joe never got a run with the title?
I don't know. I wonder if he didn't get a chance. You know what I mean? If look what they're. Vince is a babyface champion guy. You know what I mean? Like, and I get that from a promotional standpoint. Like, you're not going to promote JBL. You're going to promote Cena. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I just feel like maybe that had something to do with it. But I feel like he was injured and he went to NXT and came back, and there was some back and forth that I wasn't really in the know-how for, but I kind of watched from a distance. And so I don't really know why he never got it. Like, to me, he's the dude, man. He's the dude. And I think Hunter realized that when he brought him back down to NXT. Even if you can't do nothing, man, just come and talk for us. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you're so good at it, and you have such great facials when you cut a promo. So, great storytelling.
I know you talk about it all the time. You go, hey, we got to move on to the next thing.
Yeah.
But how good of a feeling from a writer standpoint is it where you go, we put this program together and it delivered exactly how we thought it was going to deliver, and the crowd's loving it, and everything hit just as it was supposed to?
Well, that's what Al and I talked about.
Right.
Al Snow and I was which did I asked him which he thought was more rewarding, performing or orchestrating, you know what I mean, booking, creative, whatever you want to call it. Which is more rewarding? To me, it's so much more rewarding to put a story together week to week to week to week to week, you know what I mean? And it's a lot of content, and you keep going and you keep going. So it's really great when everybody gets behind it. To counter that, from a human being standpoint, an emotional standpoint, like, it really sucks when it don't go good. You know what I mean? Because you're still putting your heart and soul into it, and it's not any good. You know what I mean? You go like, man, I totally missed that one. You know what I mean? Like, I totally thought that was going to be okay. And I got no problem admitting that if that was the case. I just don't think you could say, oh, your stuff is wrong and our stuff is right, because it's neither.
But when it hits, it's a good feeling.
Awesome, man. Makes you proud as a peacock.
Ronda Rousey and Nikki and Brie Bella beat Ruby Riott, Sarah Logan, and Liv Morgan in 9:58. Rousey came out to a huge reaction, as she's very popular in Australia for all the promotional work she did before the Holly Holm fight. When she got the big reaction, she was almost in tears, and they noted it in the commentary that this was the city where she lost her title to Holm. The only tease of problems was Rousey and Nikki arguing who would start. At one point, Brie was pulling on Morgan's tongue.
Oh.
They mostly worked over Nikki. Rousey hot tagged in, and
I don't know where that came from. It was Leo Rush there? I don't know.
I mean, to get through it before you popped off.
I couldn't help it.
You did.
I'm so sorry. All we wanted to do was get through it. Get through the read.
I'm putting it in my queue to watch. Just hang on.
By Q. I want to punch you for saying Q. This is America. We can say line. For cocaine and amusement park rides.
I can't read the screen.
Don't read it. Don't
It
do
was
it, man.
2.5 stars.
Well,
Most of the match was just okay, says the Observer, but the finishing sequence was good, and the finish itself got over great. 2.5 stars.
bing,
Dog.
bong, boom. Dude, I used to hit people with the tongue drag years ago. I'm saying in early '94 Memphis.
And then you got into wrestling.
yeah. Then I got into wrestling, and I guess they called it a fluffer. I don't know what was going on. Yeah, where did that line come from? And what?
I would tell you this: if I saw her working over her tongue, I'd type about it. It's getting noticed.
Just type about it.
Yeah.
Look, I don't know what to say. Just type it in there.
Did y'all see? She worked over.
Leo Rush.
By the way, Sarah Logan and Liv Morgan still on the roster today. What do you think of them in their new roles, Dog? Because Liv is one of my favorite. I love both of them, but Liv is one of my favorite wrestlers going right now.
Yeah, I agree, and I think she's a huge star right now. But like it got, you get an injection of talent, and all of a sudden you got some room to play with, and so it's actually good to let people go away for a little while and then come back, and it gives everybody a bit of a break and almost doesn't burn you out so fast, both personally and professionally. Like you get burnt out when you're going hard, but that's when you make the money. So you know what I mean? You got to do what you got to do. I just took a bunch of drugs, and don't do that. I can tell you from experience, do not do that.
Next up, Buddy Murphy pinned Cedric Alexander to win the Cruiserweight title in 10 minutes and 33 seconds.
I bet this got 70 line stars in the queue.
What's your real guess?
4.4.
Murphy came out with the Australian flag, so the idea was for him to get cheered. He did a running flip dive and did double knees in the corner for a near fall. Alexander did a running flip dive. They did not bring Leo Rush here. It was all big moves, and this was the hottest the crowd got all night. Alexander
As
finally
she worked over her tongue.
Alexander finally hit the lumbar check, the move they've protected all year, and Murphy kicked out. The place went nuts.
Went banana.
Murphy won with a springboard knee and got the pin after Murphy's Law. 4.25 stars for Buddy Murphy and Cedric Alexander. WWE.
I knew it would be high.
WWE gets a lot of slack sometimes on the old Twitter machines.
Yeah.
For not putting over hometown baby faces, but there's a lot of that on this show. Do you think it was? Do you remember it being a focus, considering it was a return to the country for a big show in almost 20 years? Was there a talk about that?
Yeah, of course there was. You know what I mean? Like, and that's another thing is I love. Everybody thinks like, oh, they're just idiots up there. They don't talk about that at all. Like, no, the idea that you said, we talked about that first, and then we all crapped on it and we kept going. And so it's crazy how they. Yeah, of course we thought about that. He came out with the friggin' flag. You know what I mean? Like, of course. And they had a great match. Those two guys. You just say those two names, and anybody that knows. Great wrestling match. And gave it a personal touch because he was from there, and I don't know. I would argue it's different, rather than like, oh, this guy's from Chicago, you know what I mean, or this guy's from Daytona. Like, I don't think we're going to go.
We're going to Chicago next year.
He's got to go over. Yeah,
right.
he's got to go over in Chicago. No, he doesn't have to, just because he's from there. But like, if you go over, you hadn't been there in a while, you should probably pay some attention to that. You know what I mean?
Well,
anyway.
Drew McIntyre would like to speak to some people. He did not go over. But
he was with Leo.
Leo Rush wasn't there to help. Roman Reigns and Dean Ambrose and Seth Rollins beat Braun Strowman and Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler in 19 minutes and 36 seconds. They immediately teased the Shield powerbomb on Strowman, but McIntyre and Ziggler broke it up. They worked on Rollins, who hot tagged on Ambrose. Reigns finally hot tagged in. They teased a spot for Ambrose to turn on his partners, and fans actually started chanting yes. Once again, showing fans want to see a big angle, even a Shield breakup when they were wanting them back together. They just want to see something newsworthy. Ambrose didn't turn and hit Strowman with a tope. They went for the triple powerbomb on McIntyre, but Strowman ran over everyone. Ziggler got a near fall with a zigzag. Strowman went to run over Ambrose, but Reigns came from the side and gave Strowman a pounce through the barricade. McIntyre set up the Claymore kick on Ambrose, but Rollins broke it up, and Ambrose then hit Dirty Deeds on Ziggler for the pin. 3 3/4 stars. A lot of questions here. First of all, Dog, did you enjoy seeing the Shield back together here?
Yeah. Look, I love all three of those guys. I think me and Billy and Sheamus, and me and Billy and Randy Orton, a couple got to do like a 12-day tour overseas with the Shield and six-mans, and so it was awesome, man, to get to know those guys, to be in the ring with them and feel what they're capable of and their timing and their ring presence. And all three of them, man, you could tell. Like, yeah, they're where they're supposed to be. You know what I mean? They're moving on up like George and Wheezy, and they're exactly where they're supposed to be. And so, yeah, look, I always love some nostalgia. But back to Meltzer saying, like, they just want something newsworthy. Like, what? That's not what television shows or creative or authors or, you know what I mean? Like, that's not what they don't go like, oh, well, that guy probably wants me to kill off this character, so I'm going to do that now. No, you tell the story out, dog. And if you don't like beats of the story, that's okay. Like, whatever. But it's not horrible booking or horrible story. It's just not what you like. It's different than what you dig. And I don't know, man.
How about this?
Open your mind, bro.
The TV shows where they killed a character off, I remember the ones because I didn't see it coming at all.
Right.
It wasn't going, yeah, kill it.
Yeah.
Do it,
Here
do
they
it,
come.
do
Here
it.
they come. Do it.
Yeah. Is that
That's
just
the best
wrestling
ones.
nowadays, or has it changed, or has it always been that way?
So look, I believe that the progression of societal norms and acceptance and all of that has progressed. Like you were going through one of the matches and it was like tables. Oh God, hurry, go through a table. Like, can we friggin' get to it? Like, what you friggin'?
Right.
It's like Pontius Pilate. And they're all like, just give us a second. We're gonna try to get to be a little melodramatic about it if we can. But you know, great stuff. That always had great stuff.
And I would imagine this is true, but I just want to ask for my own deal. Those moments, though, like Ambrose getting that moment, is that set up a lot of times to see how the crowd is going to react and go, hey, where do we go? Or is it just there?
So
and whatever happens.
I would argue that that the people who work behind the scenes in wrestling are right a lot more than they are wrong about getting a reaction and getting this there. So stuff like that is put in there with the idea that it's a red herring. You know what I mean? It's a moment of emotional connection with the physicality that's going on in the ring. So it's manipulating you without you even knowing it. You know what I mean? Like, they put them in there to get that reaction and then thwart it by taking it away from you. Oh, that's not what they probably did that because you thought the other way. You know what I mean? Yeah. So it's just crazy. Crazy people. Crazy me.
Daniel Bryan pinned The Miz in 2 minutes and 20 seconds.
Wow.
This match was to determine who got the next WWE title match. Bryan's ribs were all taped up to sell the beating Miz gave him on SmackDown. Bryan used the kicks early. Miz used a running knee for the near fall. Miz then went for the skull-crushing finale, but Bryan reversed it into a small package for the win. Dog, all the heat Miz got on Bryan, and then he loses in 2 minutes. I love it. It's perfect.
Well, I mean, what's that? Do they hate it? Does the Meltzer hate it? Of course he does.
No, that's all he said. That's all he said.
Okay. Yeah. Look, I mean,
sometimes it goes short.
But can I ask? Did we kill Miz? Is Miz less attractive today as a promotional brand? And dare I say, the Miz is a friggin' brand? Like, we did what to him? I'm sorry. He's got reality shows and people following him with cameras everywhere he goes. I'm sorry. We did what to him? You mighty ones of knowledge, in the realm of knowledge and know-how, but yet you don't know common sense stuff. Like, oh, he's pretty good. LMAO.
Let me ask you this, and hard for you maybe for this particular match because you weren't on site at this moment, but is there any chance this could have been, hey guys, Triple H and Taker's next, and we've gone way over? Can y'all shorten it?
100%.
And these are the two perfect guys to go, yeah, we'll do whatever you need us to do.
100%. And they would totally both say that, and they would do the business. And because the truth is, it killed off the heat that Miz had gotten up until that point. I agree with that in said story. But it was over. Like, he won the next, she gets the next shot now. So that we needed to move that puzzle piece to there. Mission accomplished. Right. You know what I mean? And I don't remember the reason. I really don't. And like you said, I wasn't on site. But it could have been a million reasons, and it all works.
All right, so here we got a lot here. Because Triple H is now pinning The Undertaker in 27 and 33 seconds in a no DQ match. They added the no DQ step so they could do more of a smoke and mirrors match. Fans popped big for that.
Yeah.
The crowd was hot seeing Undertaker. Shawn Michaels and Kane were in the corners and got involved frequently. Michaels distracted Undertaker and Triple H clotheslined him out of the ring. Michaels threw Undertaker into the post. Michaels distracted him some more, and Michaels tried to stop Undertaker from using a chair, but Undertaker decked him. Triple H got the chair, but Undertaker kicked him.
Oh.
Undertaker got the chair and gave Triple H a hard chair shot to the back. This was all in slow motion, but the crowd liked it. Undertaker kicked Michaels off the apron. Michaels was bumping all over the place, and his cowboy hat had to be practically glued onto his head because it never came off until the end of the match.
That's the American way, ain't it? As soon as you see a glitch in the armor, bro, you just rack them and fire. You know what I mean? That's the American way.
Dog.
Sad to say, but that's the truth, man.
Dog. Have you ever had a conversation where he goes, "You make sure my hat doesn't come off"?
No.
Okay.
But that's something he would have probably glued it on himself prior to coming out. If that were a concern, he would have taken care of it. I think I know that they ribbed Billy early on in his career and put super glue in his hat. And he
really?
his hat on his head, yeah.
Were you surprised to see Shawn getting involved after the tire match he had with Taker?
No, I'm not. Look, it's a running rib, so we all accept it and know it. Everybody has more than one retirement match in wrestling. Like, get over it, okay? You never have a contract signing without putting somebody through a table, and also you know what I mean? Anyway, so it's just, you do what you got to do, bro.
I can't wait to see you in Nashville next year for Ric Flair's next last match.
I don't know if I'll be able to make that one.
Yeah, okay. Oh yeah, you're working now.
I have a job.
Yeah, you got somewhere to be now. All right. Was there any talk about him? Shawn's heavily involved. That's why I wanted to pause here.
Yeah.
Is any worry about his physical condition at this point in time?
No, not at my level. You know what I mean?
And he's good enough to protect himself how he wants, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Undertaker teased the dive, but Triple H hit him in the gut with a chair. Michaels super kicked Kane onto the table. Triple H came off the apron with an elbow drop, putting Kane through the table. Undertaker gave Triple H a choke slam and tombstone. Triple H kicked out. Undertaker was so mad, he punched ref Mike Chioda.
He deserved it.
Undertaker gave Triple H 2 hard chair shots to the back. He put the chair around Triple H's neck. Michaels went to super kick Taker, but Taker punched him. Triple H then hit Undertaker with a spine buster and hit an ugly-looking pedigree trying to protect Undertaker, who kicked out. There was no reaction to the kick out. Let's pause again, Dog.
Okay.
Why do you think there was a lack of reaction here? Maybe
it didn't look like the finish.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? And that's deeper than just me saying words there.
Yeah.
If you are not convinced that what just happened is the finish of the match in the arena, it's a disconnect and you can't articulate it, but you go like, oh, and you're kind of still going like, that looked like crap. Oh, good, it wasn't the finish. You know what I mean? You go like, oh,
right.
thank God he didn't beat him with that.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Or whatever.
We all saw that moment. Yeah.
Yeah. And so honestly, and it's that quick. Like I said, you can't articulate it, but you know, I just saw what I just saw. If he missed him with something, and you know what I mean, it would be like,
hope
wait,
that
what?
at the end.
Yeah. Wait, what? That was not it. He missed him. Like whatever. So it could be that, or I don't know. I don't know why it wouldn't be a pop there. Normally, you know what I mean? A kick out of the pedigree.
All right, let's set the internet on fire. They like getting your quotes here, Dog.
Good.
What's the difference between these guys hitting their finishers and having a bunch of kickouts compared to a lot of guys nowadays doing the same thing?
Well, I think it's tenure is the wrong word, but I don't have one word to frame up establishment of one's finish. Like I think it's very important that. And I'm not saying that you have hit your finish in 1,100 VFWs or, you know what I mean? I'm talking about everybody who watches wrestling knows this is your finish. Then it's a big deal when you kick out of it. I will say for myself, as a guy who never had a finish because I never got to win, I would say it's bad business. I don't like it. I mean, I know you gotta I don't know. Get out of it. Don't hit him. Don't hit him with your finish. If I'm going to protect my finish, don't kick out of it. You know what I mean? And I tell a lot of people, don't let people kick out of that crap. Don't let people get out of your finish this early. Establish. And when I say establish, I'm not talking about John Q. Public, who watches every second of every week and knows when they didn't say disarm her, and they know about the, you know what I mean? That person, you're just going to have to see it 1,000 times. But the lay person who doesn't watch that, and we have data that shows how much people watch the shows and how many minutes an hour, and so people don't see it all the time. So just because you hit your finish last week on TV, I would argue more than half the audience didn't see it. You know what I mean? And so you have to establish. And then when you know, oh, Shawn Michaels hits a super kick, that's the finish of the match. You know what I mean? Then you got somewhere to go by letting him kick out of it. But once you do that, the bloom's off that rose, in my opinion.
Then not anybody, but you could conceive anybody kicking out of it.
Yeah, and it's just a deterioration of the believability. You know what I mean? And that's just a fact. It's not believable anymore. Nothing about it is, and that's okay. And that's what I meant about the way it's progressed, is the fans aren't asking that it be good. You know what I mean? It's like, no, we're going to do it this way. And so I don't know if it's getting better or getting worse, but the time, that's just a old prick wrestler talking. I'm sorry.
All right, let's wrap this up. Triple H put the chair around Undertaker's neck and came off the middle rope with a stomp. Went for the pin, but Kane pulled the second ref out of the ring so he couldn't count to 3.
Oh.
Kane gave Undertaker a chair, and Michaels gave Triple H a sledgehammer. Triple H sledgehammer.
Peter Gabriel.
I just saw him last week.
Did you?
Yes.
He's still alive?
Yeah. Hey, incredible concert.
Wow.
Incredible.
I heard the same thing. I heard the exact same thing. I know a guy who went overseas to see him, like in Scotland.
Oh.
Yeah, because he's a huge Peter Gabriel fan.
His band
said the
is
same thing, so it
incredible.
was just incredible, yeah.
Triple H sledgehammered the chair into Undertaker's face, but no ref to count. Undertaker went for the go-go plata.
I don't know what that means.
Boy, you should have seen me trying to read it earlier today. I've seen those letters, but not in that order before.
Usually it's in a Russian magazine.
Yes, go plata. But Triple H broke it by choking Undertaker with the sledgehammer. Undertaker went for the sledgehammer, but Michaels got it. Kane came after Michaels. Michaels gave Kane a low blow, and Undertaker threw Michaels over the top. Finally, the cowboy hat came off. Undertaker threw away the sledgehammer and gave Triple H a weak-looking choke slam. Undertaker had Triple H up for the tombstone, but Michaels super kicked Undertaker. Undertaker blocked a second super kick and picked Michaels up for the tombstone. Triple H hit Undertaker with his sledgehammer. Michaels hit a super kick on him, and Triple H followed with a pedigree for the win. They did not bring Leo Rush here. After the match, Undertaker handed Triple H the sledgehammer for all 4 posed together.
I just want you to know, this has totally saved this for me. It's just you singing Sledgehammer and Leo Rush callbacks.
While all holding hands, Undertaker turned on Triple H and gave him a tombstone, and Undertaker then chokeslammed Michaels through the announcer's table after the match. Dog, what do you think of this match? The effort of all 4 guys, and then the ending here.
Look, I tell you what, like it's. I talked earlier about ego, and it's not a good thing. Ego's not a good thing. It's not a. I mean, there's a certain pride in your work ethic and all this stuff to be proud of, but ego is never the way to go. What I was worried about for these guys was, it sounds negative to say their egos, but like that was what you just read through. That was 1997 pay-per-view finish. You know what I mean? Like, it was bing, bang, boom, but they're older now. And so what, and that's, so what the one thing you want to tell anybody in the world, and now more than ever, is don't give a crap about what other people think because you can't control it. And so don't try to. You know what I mean? You go crazy. It's a fight in futility. If they went out there and went like, that's the best we could do. Like, I got nothing against that because, as Sean has said before, and I guarantee you it's a fact, they backed the Brinks truck up to Brother's house. And so yeah, I would say I can protect myself. I'm in decent enough condition. I bet they had to be cleared medically and all kind of stuff. So, I mean, I don't know. It's just like, Edge going out there and, he's getting older. Is everybody going to dog him when he loses a step? You know what I mean? Like, it's just so easy to do. And I guess that's global. It's not just America, but it's not very nice.
Well, all that being said, if any of the gentlemen happen to be listening, not sure why they would, but if they happen to be listening, don't listen to this next segment because this is what Meltzer said about him. Undertaker versus Triple H in Melbourne was a polarizing match. Many loved it, particularly live, if you were willing to buy into the aura of it being a dream match, their first meeting in 6 years, as well as the Michaels involvement, then it worked. Okay, we should have stopped it there.
Yeah, no, thank you.
The match was long and well laid out, but for the first time, it was sad to watch Undertaker because he looked so old, slow, and too heavy. While obviously he's not as he was in his prime, even a few years ago, when his match quality at WrestleMania declined, he was still passable. This performance came across like something that so many older wrestlers who were superstars after retirement look back on with remorse, going out there when they were far past their prime.
Yeah, that might be the case.
We'll see.
It might not be. You know what I mean? They might go like, yeah, I made $286 million for that match. So
got to go to Australia with the fam.
Flew to Australia on a personal jet. I made $6 million with my buddies. Oh, but that guy didn't like my quality of my work. He's got FU money for a reason.
Dog, and to wrap this up, you have Evolution 2 days later for the WWE. This is one of the craziest times in the WWE. Is everyone happy? You have already hinted that you were not happy, would not quite be the word for you.
Yeah.
Well, how was everybody else?
No, I think it was a great time in the industry. We were doing things that we'd never done before and going out on a limb with regards to progress. So I think it was a great and exciting time for the company. And again, I can accept now that my ability to let go of my own creative and so I preach about, it's phony baloney wrestling. It doesn't mean that. But man, I would get dug in on my idea. And if you disagreed with it, you were wrong. And that's not the sign of a smart person. The sign of a smart person is to hear all the ideas and come, you know what I mean? Like I don't know. I just did the wrong thing. But it was all a matter of perspective too. I wasn't looking at the ground from 30,000 feet. I was running on the road. You know what I mean? And as fast as I could go and white knuckling my sobriety because I wasn't hitting a bunch of meetings. And so it was just a crazy time in my life. You know what I mean? But it was really good. It was really a really great time. But it was like coming to okay, this run's coming to an end. I'm getting burnt out here. You know what I mean? And like it or not, I had fun doing it. I think Meltzer can suck it.
All right, Dog. Let's get to some fan questions. How about that?
Okay, cool.
Fan questions. First of all, before we get to those fan questions, we encourage you, because our first couple questions comes from our friends over at Ad Free Shows.
AFS.
You can be a top guy, top gal over there, or many other different levels, and it all starts for as low as just $9 a month. Early ad-free access to over a dozen podcasts. Dog, did you just see they announced Lex Expressed?
And I love the twist on the wording there. You know what I mean? Lex Expressed. It's genius.
He's going to have some stories. My man's seen it all. And
Yes,
was in
he
there.
has. He's been up the one side and down the other. So, yeah, I'm interested to hear what he has to say, too. Lex is a good dude who, like me, I think got it wrong early on. You know what I mean? And he's turned his life around, and he's a different man now. But you're right, from as far as just experience and knowledge and wisdom, man, he's been through it all. So, yeah, very interested in Lex Expressed.
Of course, you've got the mailbags with Mike Chioda, who just got punched, we just read about.
Yeah.
We've got our buddy Nick Patrick, who we do the show with.
Yep.
One of your favorites, Oodles and Doodles with Lasher Roodles.
I can't believe you said that.
What did you say? Don't put it on me.
What is it called, really?
It's called Time Limit Draw.
Time limit. See, that's
So he has
it's
60
clever.
minutes.
It's more clever than.
He draws while he's answering the questions. He's got to be finished with the drawing in 60 minutes.
And what does he draw? Does somebody suggest something, or does he just?
So like this last one we did was
Yeah.
Al Snow, because he was in the headlines. So we
Yeah.
did Al Snow. Or we might go before that. We did Dennis Rodman. He was going to make an appearance at StarCast.
Yeah.
We've done anniversaries of big matches where we had Tyson and Stone Cold. We did that
Okay.
one together. So it could be all different. Every month it's a different theme, and he draws it right there. We're going to need a Glenn Close drawing very soon. Lumberjack style, of
With a
course.
5 o'clock shadow. Just like,
So you can check out all the stuff over at Ad Free Shows, man. Super quality stuff. Not only can you get this podcast early and ad free, you can get all the podcasts early and ad free as well. Plus live shows. We do these live. We did it
I know.
live without Snow.
yeah, we just live. We didn't even think about it. We just went. Just
You
push
get-
record and go.
So go to Ad Free Shows and check out and become part of the family with us. All right, let's
Yeah.
get to some fan questions. Gavin hit us up over there at Ad Free Shows and says, obviously AJ has thrived in WWE. Why do you think Joe never got the traction there that he had in ROH, TNA,
Wow.
and his current employer? So you kind of touched on it a
Yeah.
little bit earlier.
Yeah,
but
we did. I mean, I honestly don't know that. I really don't know that. And I know Vince was high on him. I know Hunter was high on him. Everybody was high on him. So it just makes me think there was something medical that wasn't out there, or something. There was a reason that he went away and came back, and I don't know the answer to that. But I mean, he went pretty high. Like, he just didn't win the title. You know what I mean?
Yep. All right, Dom, throw us up another question. Instagram wrestling historian, he hit us up on Ad Free Shows. He said,
Yep.
why do Helmsley and Undertaker again? The end of an era was perfect for countless fans.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. You know what I mean? Like, it was a perfect ending, and there's a picture framed with the tape from their wrist and the picture of all three of them up at the top. I mean, it's a beautiful way to end it. But that's when you're talking about your feelings. You know what I mean? And we're talking about living, breathing business. And sometimes in business, you make some non-fan friendly decisions. And that's right, wrong, or indifferent. That's just a fact.
And like you said, everyone will have multiple last matches.
Yeah.
Just the
I mean,
thing.
it's. I agree with the question though. The questionnaire. It was perfect. Like, it was the end of an era. Was great. But they got called in from the bullpen again. You know what I mean? Like, that's just the way. The way the old cookie crumbles.
It's also happens in other sports. It's, hey, I'm going to retire. No, I want to play 1 year with
Yeah.
so-and-so.
Yeah,
Oh,
over
please
there.
don't go play 1 year with so-and-so. We want to remember you with the other team.
Yeah, and it's like, oh, did you forget that I'm a human being living my life too? And maybe I wanted to do that. And if you're a real fan, you would just cheer that on, right?
I
But
want to see what it's
no,
like. I would also like
we're
to make more
we're
money.
burning jerseys. We're
Yeah. All right, throw us up another question, Dom. At WWE Master 2018, memories or thoughts on John Cena's 6 moves of doom, aka the lightning fist, as Corey Graves likes to call it. Here's the video of Corey Graves. He attached it. John Cena used to call it the 6 moves of doom. You were joking, saying everybody says he only has 6 moves.
oh,
he
John
leaned into
said that.
He
Oh,
leaned in, yes, but it was the 6
Okay.
moves of doom.
well, it was 5 at first, right? And then he added the
added the one
Tracy
we just-
Smothers
Yes.
back fist. But then, so even that, like they go,
That's great.
Shindo Tuan, DK Shondwan Dwe Tuan. He just hit him with the back of his hand. He back fisted him. Like it's.
The six moves.
Did they
of
say
doom.
that? Do they say when he does a spinning backhand in UFC, do they go, oh, King Shutuan? No, they go, oh my God.
Spinning back fist.
Yeah, they just knocked him out with a spinning back fist. Oh,
Six moves of doom. is
yeah, no,
so
he had
good.
6 moves of doom and
The Shandian Tuan, my friend.
Shindian Tuan. He probably also has a muscle car named that.
Shandian Dom, throw up another question for us. AP Video said, was there a match that was planned for this show, but WWE nixed it or canceled it? Do you remember any of that?
I do not. There's always, especially a show like this, there's always a lot to consider. What do you put on there, and what you know? And so no, I don't remember anything that got cut. But I also know in the build too, things just go away. You know what I mean? It's like, okay, that's not going to make it. That's a TV story. We'll tell that story on television every week.
All right.
And this one's going to the pay-per-view. And so yeah, I mean, it's there's no template. You kind of just go.
And our last question, Dom. Not today, jackass. Hit us up on Twitter at You Didn't Know Pod, at Brian R.D. James, at the Casio Kid. Would you indeed tumble for this match?
Oh.
Also, how big of a thermos would you need to pack to get through that flight?
I tell you what, that flight would be a dandy. That's for dang sure.
That's a long flight to Australia.
That is a long one, man. That is a long one. But they flew over there and had a good time, and they made some money and came back. So what was that last question again?
I'll tumble for ya.
Oh, I would. So yeah, it would have taken a lot to get me over there, but I was in a decent enough shape at this time where I could have fed in for something.
Oh,
Oh yeah, I could have fed in for a big boot and a tombstone and a choke slam and a.
right now, could you catch a big boot?
Oh, if I was laying down and somebody stomped me, yes. But if you mean like shoot me into the ropes and hit a
Yeah.
big boot, no, I wouldn't make it back to you. It'd just be like Billy shooting Mick Foley in a tag title match we had. Billy shot him in so hard he couldn't have possibly turned around and hit the rope. He just fell into the ropes. It was hideous. It was just like Billy shot him in so hard like it was a shoot Irish whip. And I guess we got that from Conor McGregor too.
I love Foley just went, I'm going out. I can't.
Bro, he just went to go. It looked like you getting shoved by your wife. Yeah, he just ate it. You can go back and look at that. I think it was me and Billy versus the Rock and Sock Connection. And I don't know when it was, what year
slung
it
him
was.
out.
Yeah, he just slung him into the ropes, and on the way over, he just fell down. Bless his heart. Mick was trying as hard as he could, Billy.
All right, dog. We got through Australia and we came back. Are you exhausted? I'm exhausted.
I am. I feel like we flew to Australia. Hey, but the truth is, like, we did 2 hours
Yeah, man.
on this,
Yeah,
and
this-
so it went by really fast. Like I didn't feel like. Thank God for Leo Rush. I am going to say that.
Next week, Ask Dog Anything, which are
Oh,
always
yeah.
super fun. So leave your questions for us on
Hey,
social media.
should we break out the idea of what we want to do going forward, or just no?
Well, we'll at least announce it for next week. We're going to be joined by a special guest.
Yeah.
Dog, you wanted to start putting the spotlight on some of the indie circuit out there. And we had a friend of the show, Vinny Pacifico, is going to join
Vinny Pacifico, good kid. And we were supposed to have him on tonight. We apologize for that, Vinny. We'll get back to you. We're going to call it 15 Minutes of Fame, and it's kind of braggadocious, just me saying like being on here is going to give you fame, because it's not. But but being on here, I think is advantageous for you if you're a young and upcoming wrestler. Even if what I says is all bullcrap and you think I'm just an old idiot, you would be half right. And so I don't know. I think it's a good opportunity, and it's a good way to, not everybody gets a tryout at NXT. Not everybody gets, well, almost everybody gets hired at AEW. But and so this is a platform to give those guys. Maybe we watch a match. Maybe we don't. Maybe we talk about his character. Maybe we talk about his work, his promos. You know what I mean? Like, I think it's just a cool step into indie wrestling. And the idea came from watching Al's show, Wrestlers on Netflix. You know what I mean?
So how about this? If you're watching this on our YouTube, or wherever you consume this, if there's a comment section, if not, follow us on social media and do this. Comment below, and we're thinking of names of it. 15 minutes of fame. We tossed out. What'd you say? Welcome to the Doghouse.
Yeah.
It could be anything on that. Let us know that. Also, let us know the indie wrestlers you'd like to see us spend a few minutes with. We would love to get that going as well. So
that's
comment
very
below.
important, because man, there are people that are doing indie shows right now that 100 people know about and nobody else does, but those 100 say, this girl's the next big thing.
Yep.
That's the person I want on here. You know,
we want to hear about it. Drop it in the comments below. Look, we know you pay attention to wrestling. We know you watch it even on your indie scene, and so spread that word. Get them that love. Tag them in it. The whole deal. Let them know. How about this? If you're an indie wrestler, let us know you're listening.
Tag us.
And give us the hot tag, and we'll see what we can do.
But I'll come in and probably fall on the way for the first punch. So just it won't be hot. Let's just say that it'll be a tag, but it'll be far from hot. What if I just stood on the apron and they came to me and I just hit them and knocked them down? Create some space, because it takes me 11 seconds to get through the ropes now. I gotta go through. Okay, now here they come charging me. Double clotheslines. Ooh, get them right there. They pop up. Double coconut. Ooh, oh, they get juice. Punk's gigging. He's
He just stabbed.
It was like he just poked his inner ear. Good God.
I was like, I've never done it and don't want to do it, but that ain't how you do it.
I don't know if it is or not. I don't think it's a good idea.
This
I can't say that 7 out of 10 doctors would recommend that.
All right, I'm going to work over my wife's tongue. She's going to be Liv Morgan.
I just cut mine on my.
I'm going to be Bree.
Oh, role playing.
Yes.
I like it. Good for you.
Liv Morgan, and we're going to see what happens. But everybody interact with us. Leave those comments. Let us know about this segment we're going to start doing. We don't know if it's weekly, monthly, or just with the we're figuring this out.
We're just playing with it. We're just doing like a lot of you guys do when you're watching us. We're just playing with it. You know what I mean?
I don't know what else I could say. If you would like these two gentlemen right here to talk about your business, you need to hit us up at advertisewithdogg.com.
Advertise with the Dogg.
We would love to be hooking it up for you. And also, we would love, look at that.
Come on.
Look at that.
Come on, guys. I used to be somebody.
What if you're watching on YouTube, you can see us. What if right there, instead of Shawn Michaels' face and all those guys, it was a business logo with somebody listening to this show? See?
Yeah.
It could be that easy.
Yeah, that's awesome, too.
We could be putting that out there.
Maybe we should do that with our show.
Advertisewithdogg.com. Another website you need to check out is our good buddy Conrad Thompson, SaveWithConrad.com. Right now, your home is worth probably more than it's ever been. You don't just have to take my word for it. Yeah. I'm sure if you've got a cell phone, you have random realtors calling you right now going, we want to buy your house.
Yeah.
It is. It's worth more than it's probably ever been.
Yeah.
And combine all your debts into one monthly payment, or maybe do all those home upgrades you've dreamed of. On top of that, you could skip 2 house payments. Put that newfound equity to work. Go see SaveWithConrad.com. Yeah. Tell him you heard Casio and Road Dogg talking about him, and he will love that. And take care of you, because it's SaveWithConrad.com.
SaveWithConrad.com.
Follow him at Brian R.D. James. I'm at the Casio Kid.
You can if you want to.
At You Didn't Know Pod. No, you better do it.
You better do it.
Like and subscribe on YouTube. Turn on those notifications so you don't miss any time we go live. You don't miss any of our highlights and clips, our bonus shows. All that's at youtube.com/dog. Merchandise.
I mean, you're living your life, and it's just life's happening. We're just idiots. You know what I mean? Let us come into your life and just be idiots for you.
How about Box of Gimmicks?
Sounds awesome to me.
Boxofgimmicks.com. What do we got to show right
some
now?
Merch. Got some merch. I said I got some merch.
Look at that. That's your
it's
dog.
Winnie Pooh. She likes to pee and poo. So what I'm doing basically a lot to nowadays is just babysitting that dog, and we got another puppy younger than it. I will send pictures so we can share of Hercules
come
as
on.
well. And so I babysit my grandson, my 2-year-old grandson, a lot. So basically, it's really cute from outside. I think I said this earlier too. It's just covered with poop and pee on the inside. Like there's just pee and poop everywhere.
And don't forget, in case you missed it, when we launched that shirt, anything with the dog logo on there, show that up. I know we got tank tops in it.
Yep.
I believe we had. Was there a mug? No. Go back to the dog.
That's a really cool picture of me and Snoop Dogg.
No, we did. That's all cool. Go back to the dog. The actual. Yeah.
There it is.
Then we got a mug and a shirt, tank top. Don't forget, in case you missed that big announcement when we launched these, all the proceeds from that go to feeding that dog.
Yeah. And so thank you guys.
And I heard it can eat.
She is a party tractor.
Thanks, everybody, for joining us. We had a blast. Next week, Ask a Dog Anything, so get your questions in there.
Anything.
You can be a part of the show with us. And, of course, if you didn't like this episode, we got 2 words for you.
Suck it.